All right, all right. If you are a real estate investor and you are buying properties and then renting them out to families on this Section 8 housing program, listen up because you just got a boost in income. Let me break down what just got passed in our government regarding Section 8 and the budget. See, a lot of people have been fearful of Donald Trump's new big beautiful bill and a lot of other discussions in the marketplace about him getting rid of federal funding for Section 8 and passing it down to the states, which would cause a lot of great concerns with the states and mismanagement of funds and people not having the right amount of vouchers in other areas for where they're buying properties at to then have families who qualify for the Section 8 program to move into those properties because the states may not be managing the funds appropriately, right? If we have a system that's not broke, why fix it? And the federal government is the one that's funding all the Section 8 programs out there for people in different states, which you, the landlord, are counting on for that guaranteed rental income to come in to cover the cost of your properties and make some profit on. So Section 8 HUD budget is right now $73.3 billion. That's $3.3 billion more than last year's, the fiscal year of 2025, and $6 billion more than the House version approved. This shows bipartisan momentum toward increasing housing support instead of cutting it, which was a big fear because everybody was in fear that the program was going to get cut. And you're thinking, I got 20, 30 properties, all families are on Section 8. How can I be sure and secure that the government's going to continue paying their rents, right? So key program highlights for today: the Housing Choice Voucher Program, currently $37.4 billion allocated. That's $1.3 billion increase over the last year and $2 billion more than what the House originally approved on their budget. This means more families will get help and current vouchers are secure. Now, project-based rental assistance, that's a $17.8 billion allocated, which is an 8% increase from last year's $667 million over the House. This helps keep entire buildings affordable. Your home investment property partnerships, $1.25 billion maintained. Important because it was at risk of elimination in earlier proposals, which is great to see that's not happening. Homelessness Assistance Grants are at a $4.5 billion, which is 11% increase from last year. Critical for shelters and permanent housing. Again, we don't want to see a lot of homeless people on the streets. Public housing, 5% reduction in operating funds there. Worth noting on a small downside. Programs for seniors both see modest funding increases. What's the big picture here? This budget keeps housing funding strong, increases Section 8 resources, and rejects the massive cuts originally proposed earlier this year. It sets the stage for why Section 8 is in one of its best positions in years. So if you're looking to get in Section 8 right now, this is honestly the best time because everyone just got a bump in pay. It's massive. All right. The administration originally proposed cuts of around 43 to 44% to HUD rental assistance. However, if that had passed, millions could have lost housing support and funding vouchers would have been slashed in half. The Senate completely reversed that direction, not only keeping funding, but increasing it. So this is massive for you if you're in Section 8, all right? Big boots for core Section 8 programs. All right, tenant-based rental assistance. The main Section 8 voucher program got a $1.3 billion more than what they got last year. Project-based rental assistance, which keeps whole properties affordable, saw an 8% increase. These increases help ensure current tenants stay housed and more people can receive assistance. Okay. Supporting programs are protected. Home investment partnerships, critical for building and preserving affordable housing, kept its $1.2 billion funding, which was on the chopping block before. Homelessness Assistance Grants, this is huge, up 11%, which reduces housing instability that can flood the voucher system. And funding for elderly and disabled housing also went up modestly. Okay, number 4, harmful policy shifts were rejected. Senate said no to converting rental assistance into state block grants, which could reduce consistency and oversight, imposing arbitrary time limits on how long people could use vouchers. This means program stability for both landlords and tenants. Guys, this is massive because this guarantees that your tenants are good and that you can continue receiving rental increases. The big picture, Section 8 now has more money, more stability, and fewer risks than it's had in years. This benefits landlords with guaranteed on-time rent payments and tenants with secure housing support. Listen, this is great for myself and for our clients, right? We have a lot of clients that pay us to help them find the right cash flowing properties, do the due diligence on these properties, locate and fill these properties with the right tenants who have the right amount of voucher, who have the right bedroom voucher for their property, so that way they're able to maximize that rent. We help people build a strong real estate portfolio using the Section 8 program, right? Side note, if this is something you're looking to do, but you want to avoid all the headache and all the time that it takes in finding a good property, finding a qualified tenant, dealing with the housing authority, submitting all the paperwork, and just growing a profitable cash flowing real estate business with a good property management company, we are here to help you do that. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead, click the link in this video, and one of my team members will help you get started. But let me continue with this. So why it's very important to get into Section 8 investing right now. Record level funding. Section 8 programs are flush with cash after this budget, and these increases mean more vouchers in circulation. More vouchers equals more potential tenants actively looking for housing right now. Landlords who get approved and set up early will benefit before competition ramps up. All right, number 2, guaranteed rent in uncertain times. Everybody here remembers COVID. Everybody remembers the rent moratorium where people didn't have to pay rent if they were living in your property. I personally know people who had $5 to $10 million worth of real estate that they all lost those properties because no one was paying rent in those areas. And some of the states were in Jersey, Tennessee, Georgia. Unfortunately, they lost those properties during that time. With Section 8, you just don't have to worry about that, right? Section 8 rent is paid directly by the government, which doesn't miss payments, even during recessions, pandemics, or shutdowns. That stability is rare in real estate and shields you from the volatility. What's the volatility? People losing their jobs, people getting divorces, people's dogs dying, or their cat needs medical surgery. Generally, they put all that before they put your rent payment, right? You don't have to worry about that with Section 8. All right, number 3, tenant reliability is higher than most think. Many people wait years to get a Section 8 voucher. Losing it means losing free rent for life. They don't want to do that. So tenants are highly motivated to follow rules and maintain the property. This often leads to lower turnover and fewer payment issues compared to some market rentals, right? The goal here is to have a tenant that wants to stay in your property for the next 5 to 8 years, because we both know when you're buying properties and renting them out, if you have a new tenant leaving every 1 to 2 years, there's a churn, and generally that downtime when you're not receiving a rent payment is between 1 to 4 months in the amount of time it takes to rent that property out again. So you want to avoid that at all costs. In Section 8, generally, because it's paying someone's rent for them, they get happy, they stay for a long time, right? All right, number 4, demand will outpace supply. Even with increased funding, voucher holders outnumber available units in many markets. If you own a qualifying property, you can fill vacancies faster and keep them full. Getting in now positions you ahead of landlords who will jump in after they see the benefits, okay? This is pretty massive. Number 5, complementary program stability, right? Other housing programs that support Section 8, like home and homelessness assistance grants, were preserved and expanded. This ensures the entire ecosystem around Section 8 is strong, reducing the risk of sudden policy changes or funding collapses, right? Stability and security, that's what you want in your investments when you're buying properties. First mover's advantage. The combination of higher funding plus stable policy plus growing demand creates a rare window where risk is low and opportunity is high. Getting in now means locking in long-term tenants, stable income, and favorable positioning before competition catches up. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand. The great thing about Section 8 is it's predictable income for the most part, right? What comes down is finding a good tenant and finding a good asset that tenant wants to live in and stay in for a long time, making sure the tenant has the right bedroom voucher count, right? You don't want a tenant who has a 1-bedroom voucher moving into your 3-bedroom property. You're just not going to get that much rent pay, okay? And you want to make sure you're in a good area where there's enough vouchers in that area to fulfill your properties with families on Section 8, right? You don't want to buy in areas where the housing authority is not that active and there's not that many vouchers in those areas. So these are the things that you want to avoid, and why you would hire a professional company like my company to come in and help you build a strong, successful, cash flowing real estate portfolio using the Section 8 program. This is what we do. We're one of the best in the game. We're helping people buy properties every month. We help them with all their due diligence. We even provide them with lenders to help them get funding for these properties. our lenders will allow them to fund as low as 15% down, which is pretty massive, considering most lenders want you to put down 25 to 30% to secure a property, right? And our lenders will even fund properties as low as $50,000, which is pretty huge. And obviously, the other option is going through the DSCR, using a 20% down payment, the DSCR funding program. We even have clients of ours that will help fund the purchase of your turnkey properties, right? A lot of clients that buy properties from us, they're also hard money lenders. So they'll even give you the down payment that you need in order for you to secure that property if you don't have the down payment to build your real estate portfolio. This is what we do. This is what we're great at. Go ahead and reach out or click the link in the video or in my bio. One of my team members will reach out to you and help you get started. Until then, have a great day.